Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. This is part 2 of 2 of What If Deku had a godly ice quirk. And if you enjoy, please show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Yeah, check the links in the description for, the Discord and the Spotify, stuff like that. And yeah, I don't want to waste much more of your time because I gotta finish off this What If. And there you go. Let's get right into it. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo are going to take on All Might. But Izuku initially kind of watches Bakugo take on the fight against All Might. He kind of thinks to himself, like, what's the point of me trying to help this guy? Like, seriously, he's going to fail no matter what. And he continuously kind of ignores anything and everything. I mean, every time he tries to tell him, like, dude, you're not going to be able to do this, or, hey, bro, like, we should really approach things in a different kind of way, he's always ignored. Every single time. Almost every single time, Bakugo is just like, no, like, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to get yourself hurt, get yourself killed, get yourself something out at some point. And he tries to tell Bakugo, but of course, like I said, Bakugo just flat out doesn't listen. So Izuku kind of stands there and waits. And as he waits, he watches an absolute beating. I mean, he watches Bakugo get absolutely smacked on by All Might. And then eventually Izuku is like, you know what? Okay, time to enter this fight. In which he does, and quickly he saves Bakugo, putting him kind of in a safe distance away from All Might. And he begins to immediately utilize ice powers on All Might himself. And as he does this, oh, it is ridiculous. Izuku is overwhelming All Might very quickly, especially slowing him down massively. Basically to the point where All Might is feeling this massive slow and this massive amount of kind of slowness to his movements, and also his fighting in general, and he seems to not be able to get any upper hand on Izuku. Not that Izuku is like 10 times stronger than All Might or anything like that, but it's just he has so much hacks that he's borderline just holding All Might down entirely, forcing him to basically not move at all. And it's pretty shocking for everyone. Everyone's like, whoa, like, this is pretty damn wild. Like, how is he able to do this? Like, this is insane. Like, we're saying that Izuku Midoriya, the one we've been working with, yes, we know that he's super strong and powerful, but that's the same person that is doing this. That's the same person that is basically putting up such a very high level fight that, like, everyone is just in disbelief that he's doing this to the number one hero, or, basically the number one hero currently. Like, that's ridiculous. This is, like, insane. Like, they can't even wrap their head around the idea that he's able to do this. Like, it's pretty kind of crazy to watch Izuku do the things he's doing, slowing All Might down, kind of progressing in the fight quicker than you could imagine. And everybody is just watching an absolute masterclass. And frankly, if Endeavor was watching this, or Endeavor was, keeping an eye on this like ever, he would realize that he made a massive mistake. Because guess what? Endeavor just threw away a child that would have easily have the potential of becoming the number one hero. It's just he was too thoughtless. He wasn't thinking about the powers that Izuku could possibly maintain, and he wasn't thinking that he would have ice powers that would borderline make him a god. And Izuku, well, he continues training, and this training, after defeating All Might, or at least getting to the point where they can escape or defeat him, quote unquote, he continues his training as they go into the forest training camp. And the forest training camp is perfect for Izuku because he starts learning almost everything. I mean, he starts learning various different techniques that he's trying to understand, and various techniques that he hasn't even basically touched on until right now. And 2 weeks straight of just training is something that Izuku is able to maintain, and also is something that he is happily going to get used to, because that's a lot of potential that is definitely there for the taking for him. And he's just sitting there and preparing and working out and basically learning these new techniques, and his power is just growing more and more and more and more. And it's absolutely ridiculous, because Izuku seems to be at a level that many others will question how he even got there, even question if maybe he is some sort of sentient being that came from the gods themselves. But he's not. He's just like them. He breathes the same air as them. He walks the same ground as them. He steps just like them, and he works just as hard, if not harder. But Izuku Midoriya was just blessed, just a lot greater than everyone else. After the 2 weeks of training, we would have a run through of quite a bit of things. But one thing that Izuku was very, very, very tempted at messing with was the idea of him healing people with his basically kind of chirokinetic regeneration of some sorts. So one day he would walk up to All Might and tell him that he thinks that he can basically put him back in a spot where he is of high value once again, that he is of the same strength that he used to be. In which all my questions, like, what is he talking about? Like, he's still the same strength and blah, blah, blah. But he tells him that he knows that he is nowhere near the strength that he once was. He knows that that's just far from, the case, right? He's nowhere near it. And it's nothing wrong with that. Stuff happened, whatever happened, if it was injury, if it was, time itself, he's not sure, but he knows that something happened to All Might. But he says that he can heal him, he can fix it, and that he can make him stronger once again. In which he tells All Might, as long as he trusts him, that they can do this. And that's exactly what All Might does. He tells the kid, okay, if you could do this, well, I trust you, right? In which immediately Izuku would encapsulate All Might in ice, and as he does this, he tells All Might within the ice that he'll have to stay there for a while. Might be a little chilly, but he can temper with the temperature here and there, and he'll make sure that it's somewhat comfortable. And he tells him to be patient, very, very patient. And as they're waiting, as 1 day would pass, 2 days would pass, and then as we're getting to the 3rd day, they would be standing there waiting and seeing as All Might would be recovering. But the thing is, an attack would then occur, an attack by All For One. All For One would begin attacking, and he would start a quest to look for All Might, to take down All Might, to destroy and kill All Might. That's his goal, that's his wants, that's his desires, and All Might has to be ready for a fight. Izuku looks at All Might and wonders if he's even ready just yet, but he shakes his head and he tells All Might, well, it seems like they don't have much of a choice. He gets him out of the ice and says that he can heal him more later if need be. But as All Might recovers and starts, warming himself up, he starts realizing stuff pretty damn fast. He starts realizing that he is stronger than you could possibly imagine. He starts realizing that his strength is off the freaking charts. He realizes that his strength has come back in dividends, in absolute dividends, and his strength seems to be close to his peak performance, his peak in terms of, strength and power. He never thought he would be back here. He never thought he would get back here. He never thought there would even be a chance he would be close to the power he once had, but he's here. His power is overwhelming, even to himself. And he can't even freaking believe it. But here's the thing. There is something to believe. And frankly, he should believe it. Because Izuku watches as All Might goes out to fight All For One. And All For One doesn't even stand a chance. And he falls quicker than you could imagine. And All Might stands tall, still in his All Might form. And he would tell everybody that kid right there, that Izuku Midoriya, he would tell all the heroes, all the agencies, that he is the reason he is the reason that basically he is going to be the hero he once was and can continue being the hero that he is. And everybody is in absolute shock at the fact that he was able to basically revert time, almost or borderline revert time, and he is now at a spot where he is not only so much stronger than he it was now, but he is almost back to the peak performance he was once at when he was younger. And now All Might can continue his heroics, and or hero journey, and continue saving people, at least for a short amount of time. Now, he's not going to be able to hold on to all of his power. We all know that to be the case. But Izuku has definitely helped him maintain time and maintain some time that he wasn't going to have in the first place. And that right there is a gift that many could never overlook. And that right there is a gift that many could truly never look past. And Izuku Midoriya, he will never look past that gift. He will never look past what was given to him and the strength that basically was, All Might would never look past the strength that was given to him. And Izuku Midoriya himself will never look past the chance that he got to really help society this much, to help society that much more than you could think. And Izuku has helped so much throughout this time, and even many people would question if he should really even do his provisional hero license. Why not just give it to him now? He just did something that nobody thought possible, and he just did something that many would just, immediately kind of immediately and basically kind of give someone a chance at being a provisional hero nonetheless. Like, they would just, hey, here, take it, provisional hero license exam now, and there you go. And that right there is an insane chance that he could have gotten, and frankly, a chance that Izuku would have liked to gain immediately, but he would still have to take his provisional hero license exam test, but he would pass that immediately. Like, they would go on, they would do exactly that. They would of course do the provisional hero license exam, but Izuku would be able to handle so much and so quickly. Like, for starters, I mean, he would have to deal with the regular, portion where you gotta kind of hit the balls on these different lights of different people to eliminate them. But that's the easy portion. But things even get easier when Izuku has to face off with a ton of villains, and he could just cover the entire area, basically the entire area in ice, capturing and also stopping a ton of these villains from doing a single thing. Like, these villains genuinely, or these fake villains, really, that's what they are, fake villains. But these fake villains can't do a single thing to even counteract what he's doing. There's not a single answer he could really approach things with, and Izuku handles basically the fight and handles everything to do with the provisional hero license exam with flying colors. Now, as that quote-unquote test would finish up, and as that quote-unquote test would be done and dusted, Izuku himself would be thinking, like, okay, so what's next? Like, surely what's next? Like, what are we going to do next and stuff like that? And, well, we have something that is basically the next thing that they have to do, and that is basically getting ready for their work studies. And Izuku, well, he's excited to actually work with some different hero agencies, curious at what agency he will actually be able to work with. Now, first off, they do go head to head with, well, Mirio Togata himself, and it's a pretty damn cool experience. Mirio is no joke. Honestly, he seems even stronger than what Izuku thought in the first place. Like, he thought Mirio was strong, but not this strong. This is pretty damn wild. Like, his strength seems off the charts, almost like it's going up in increments and or kind of in multipliers. Now, even though that is the case, Izuku doesn't know that he has one for all, but that is what he is realizing, at least at the moment, just doesn't know what it is word for word. But as Izuku is basically taking on these challenges, as he's working with Mirio, as they basically go and face off with each other, and they do pretty damn well against each other. And Mirio, well, with his quirk, he's definitely able to get around some of Izuku's strengths and really expose some of his weaknesses. But Izuku, well, you could say the same thing for him as well, being able to expose some of the weaknesses that Mirio is definitely showing. On top of that, well, let's just say this: Izuku is basically impressing Mirio to a degree that is really, really, really high. But not just the fact that he's impressing him. Well, let's just say Sir Night-Eye has already been impressed by him, and he's excited to work with him already. I mean, legitimately, he's already interested in working with Izuku, so it's definitely something that that is going to happen in the near future, especially with what Izuku has done for All Might himself. And we all know how fond Sir Night-Eye is of All Might, even if they don't always get along, and even if they don't always aren't always, you know, on the right page, or, you know, on like kind of in the same kind of idea space. Now, they might not get along or have agreements every single time, but one thing they can agree on is that the potential of Izuku is wild. That his potential is off the charts, and Izuku Midoriya, he continues to show exactly that. He continues to show that his potential is like no one else's, and they even learn, and well, basically, not All Might, but Sir Night-Eye, excuse me, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but Sir Night-Eye would even learn that Izuku is the son of Endeavor. Now, it's actually kind of weird because he didn't even know that. I mean, even according to all the kind of the information he's gotten and stuff like that, he actually wasn't the son of Endeavor. He's actually the son of someone else. But of course, that's because he was adopted. Now, it is an interesting aspect, and he wonders if that weird marriage thing that they did actually worked out. But it seems like they actually got rid of a kid that had the potential of being just one of the strongest heroes in existence. And it's ironic in a way that they did that when they could have had someone that powerful in their own bloodline, or well, is in their bloodline, but of course not in a technicality now, because of just, you know, them or Izuku not basically being associated with them as well. Now, like in a technical sense, excuse me, he is, obviously, because he is blood related, but Izuku, for his own information, he believes that and truly knows, like that's the real thing, he believes and truly knows that he is the son of Inko Midoriya, and that's what matters to him. Now, this is where we get Izuku and Sir Night-Eye and many others trying to figure out something, and that something is obviously learning about kind of the Shie Hassaikai, learning about the one and only overhaul and stuff like that. But Izuku's kind of the perfect person to really put in your ranks to deal with overhaul and to deal with the Shie Hassaikai. Because for starters, when they run into overhaul for the first time, with Eri being terrified, Izuku would easily be able to freeze overhaul, make it so that he can no longer take off the gloves that are basically stopping him from actually utilizing his quirk, but also freeze him entirely so he can't move, and it basically puts him in a prison borderline. And as they're potentially setting up for the next attack and the next kind of thing to take down the Shie Hassaikai base, Izuku is the perfect person to be a part of this as well, because Izuku is going to be able to basically shut down and or kind of freeze the entirety of the area and make it so that it is extremely easy for basically everyone to take over, for everyone to stop these villains, and for everyone to capture / put them all into prison. And it's very easy to do so. with what they are trying to do. And it's a pretty basic concept, in all honesty, especially with the idea of how well Izuku can freeze over or make a difference with freezing and or kind of icing over a ton of the area, changing the domain to his kind of own will. And it seems like Izuku's power seemingly has no end to it, and his power seems to just continue to grow, and nobody knows where it will stop growing truly. So after the Shie Hassaikai base is completely covered in ice and all the villains are captured and dealt with, Izuku, well, he is ready for whatever is going to happen next, because Izuku is excited to really get a hold of what his potential is going to be like and what his potential is as a future hero. Now, he has a couple other things to get a hold of, because the one thing he ends up having to actually do very soon is the fact that he actually has to deal with a monstrous creature that they end up finding. And this monstrous creature, well, we know as Gigantomachia. And this creature is found in the mountains. And they wonder, like, where did this thing come from? Where is it from? What is this thing, right? Is it from All For One's, like, lackeys or something like that? In which they don't really know. But they know that there's definitely danger regarding this. And having someone like Izuku, well, they might be able to actually stop the potential danger before it even happens. And that's what he's able to do. He's able to freeze the monster and basically put him in some sort of ice domain and make it so that they legitimately don't have to worry about this creature continuing a somewhat warpath if it somehow ends up being to that point. So Izuku will easily be able to freeze off and or help with the imprisonment and or kind of figuring out what's wrong with this creature, or figure out if this creature is good, bad, or anything in between. And he's able to do that by keeping everyone safe and keeping everyone from harm, especially when putting this kind of creature behind bars or frozen within the ice. And Izuku continues to be helpful in almost every single regard you could imagine, and would continue working with Sir Night-Eye's agency. Of course, he would still have school. He would still have stuff with academia, and would still have stuff with UA High School. But at the end of the day, the big potential he has is as an actual hero. His hero journey is not over just yet, and he does have some training to get into, some training against, class 1B, and that training is definitely fruitful, but it's not really training that matters that much in a way. And the reason for this is because Izuku himself is at a totally different level at this point, powers borderline of an ice god, and Izuku is showing off his insane potential day in and day out, as if there's really no chance. There's really no chance, no real chance for anybody in Class 1B to take him down. And the team he goes up against, he might be at a disadvantage because they're down one person going against a team that has obviously Shinso added to it, so it's a 4 versus 5. But it does not mean that, Izuku's going to somehow lose. Being able to freeze over the area and defeat that team of in Class 1B before you can even know it. Freezing over the area, putting them all kind of in quote unquote imprisonment. And Izuku himself, well, he's excited to see what's going to happen next. Excited to see what he can do next. And that right there is the real thing. Because Izuku Midoriya, he's excited to continue to uphold everything he possibly can. His potential seems to be limitless, and he wants to prove to everyone that his potential really is limitless. And it's crazy because he even does some things as he grows a little older, meeting with his actual, his actual mother, at least his actual mother in the blood sense. And he basically tells her that he doesn't, blame her at all. He knows how terrible Endeavor was. He knows how terrible his actual father was, but he wants her to know that he doesn't blame her. And honestly, everything worked out for the better, in which that's a conversation they end up having, a conversation that really is the truth, a conversation about how really him leaving, him being gone, him being basically cast away was the best decision that possibly could have happened for him, for his future, and really for the family that he eventually gained and the family he would eventually love. And that is the reality of it. And that is, well, sounds like the harsh reality, but it's just the truth. But Izuku Midoriya's journey for being a hero would continue on. He would continue growing in strength and growing in power. And many would look at his powers as the next staple, the next statement, and the next chance for everybody in Japan, and maybe even in the entire world, to stay safe, to stay secure, and live life without worries and without regret. But Izuku Midoriya's powers, well, if he grew God levels of power or godlike powers, who says that there isn't going to be another person born just like him sooner than you could imagine? Could be 5 years, could be 1 year, could be 10, it could be hundreds, but you never know. Once these powers, this strength, and this potential is added to this world, once all of those things are made possible in this world, you never truly know who the next person having and honestly holding on to that insane strength will end up being. But that's for a story for another time, another day, and a story that may not be spoken. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed What If Deku Had a Godly Ice Quirk. And if you did, leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.